the epidemiology and a step forward to future planning. So we are curious to hear your talk.
Thank you very much. I am Waheed from Pakistan, and the topic of my talk is the epidemiological trends of FMDV in Pakistan in the past, and what is really happening in the past, a step forward towards future planning to control FMD in endemic settings of Pakistan. Let me take you people to Pakistan, which is a complex situation in respect to FMDV situation. And it's basically an agriculture-based economy. Most of the people, they earn their livelihood from their livestock earnings. The share of agriculture in the total GDP is about 21%, and the share of livestock in agriculture is about 56%. It's the lion's share in the agriculture commodities. And the livestock in the total GDP is 11.8%. The main source for the labor for their earning is 43.7%. And the earning through livestock sector is about 790 billion rupees in 2015 and 16. And livestock progress, the sector of livestock is getting annual increment of about 2.9 to 3% during the year of 2015 to 16. Just to show that we have a very, very high number of animals, susceptible animals of FMDV. The cattle population is about 41.2 million, buffalo 35.6, sheep 29.4, and goat is about. So it comes up about 175 millions of the susceptible animals in Pakistan. And this is the milk production for the year 2015 and 16. 51,000 metric tons for this thing. So far, Pakistan is endemic with 3 strains, O, A, and Asia 1, and O is the most prevalent one in most part of the countries. Then the losses due to FMD in Pakistan per year, they are about 21.5 billion per year. The economic losses are of 4 types, basically. Maybe direct losses due to the deaths of the young ones, loss of production, and drought capacity. Indirect losses include restrictions on the trade, export of live animals and dairy products. Although we are producing a lot of milk, but we cannot export that one. Treatment and vaccination costs, they are the additional factor which need to be concerned for the economic losses. For doing this study, we have selected the 3 strains which are endemic in Pakistan, A, O, and Asia 1. We got the VP1 sequences of endemic types, all these ones which were previously submitted from Pakistan to the Gen Bank, and those were analyzed. 38 sequences which we have submitted by my team, and those were from A and O. These were the 38 VP1 sequences, and we have also submitted 5 sequences from the P1 of O and A. Then we performed the analysis in Mega 6.1 software, and individually all the 3 strains were analyzed. What we got from here, this is a tree which is representing, sorry. Yeah. In Pakistan, Pan-Asia is the lineage, and Pakistan samples, they fall in 3 lineages, Pan-Asia 1, 2, and 3. But it is quite distinct from the Iran 2001 and Pakistan 98, because the viruses, they are closely related to each other, and once they got much differences, then they fall in the next lineage. This is the analysis on the basis of P1 sequences. These were the sequences which we have submitted previously, and this also shows that all the viruses, they are closely related to the circulating viruses in Pakistan. So the things are very closely related to the previous outbreaks. These are the A sequences which we have analyzed on the basis of VP1 sequences, and all the viruses, they belong to A Iran 2005 lineage, and these viruses, they are from Pakistan and different areas of the Pakistan, which is representing that there is minor nucleotide change every time for the rest of the outbreak in the future. Yeah. This is the analysis based on VP1 sequence of Asia1 type sequences which were submitted from Pakistan. And in this area, we can see that group 2 is the bigger group which is having most of the sequences from Pakistan, group 4, and then the group 7. So the Asia1 sequences, they fall in these 3 groups of Asia1 with minor changes over the years. This is previous submitted paper, published paper, and we got the things that this is our sequence, that one. This is closely related with the Iran 2005 and rest of the things. The other important thing is that we are getting some recombination of the viruses in the field, and that has been already documented by Jamal et al. In 2011, and the things are continuously going on. This is the place where the recombination in these viruses, serotype A, Asia1, O, and Asia, that took place, and this is the evidence that this region, they are overlapping, and in this region, they are also, in the capsid region, they are overlapping, and the same is the case over here. So due to the recombination of the viruses, the things are making more complex in the Pakistan situation, so that we can say that the control policy may not be that easy in Pakistan, because we are not having very good coverage of the vaccines available to our 170 million heads of susceptible animals in Pakistan. So we have to consider on other things, so we may end up with the better control policy for these things. In conclusion, the most important thing is that Pakistan is a difficult situation with respect to FMDV. The sampling is not that easy. The political situation sometimes doesn't allow to get the samples representative from all the areas. So, but despite these things, we need to have a constant surveillance of all the things which is happening in the field. So that we may look for the previous molecular epidemiology side by side to get to a control in FMD endemic settings of Pakistan. This study actually required to add the knowledge base of FMDV epidemiology in Pakistan. At the last, I'm really thankful to my university for allowing these things, my funding agency, DATRA, EuFMD for accepting the things, for presenting the things over the rostrum here, FAO, and the contributing authors, especially Syed Jamal, who is also sitting here, and audience for patience and sitting all the things. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have some time. We are very well in time. So are there any questions? Yes, over there.
In the 2 presentations from Pakistan, we saw a lot of many sequencing results from the field strains, but I didn't hear what is the vaccination situation, because it is possible that there is a selective pressure of immunizations if they are taking place, and for this reason, some selected strains to be on the field which have not been covered by vaccination strains. So this is important from epidemiological point of view. What is the vaccination coverage? What type of vaccine is used? What strain? And what is the matching of vaccine with those that are isolated on the field?
Thank you very much. As I already told that we have about 175 million heads of susceptible animals in Pakistan. We have indigenous vaccine production system in Pakistan, and we are also importing the vaccines from multinational companies. But the coverage for from all these sources is about, if I am more on the safe side, less than 5%. So less than 5% animals are getting the vaccination, and to be more on the safe side, for vaccination, we cannot compel the farmers. And if we are vaccinating only 5% of the susceptible animals, this thing happens. New and new things are coming out. New and new groups are making. Recombination is happening in the field. So all these things are happening in the field. So we need to go for first step, go for the surveillance-like things. And for vaccine matching, we are not having any laboratory in Pakistan for doing the things. We are sending the samples to IEH for vaccine matching and other things. So that's why the situation is complex over there. And in addition to this, the political situation, the geopolitical situation that is not allowing the control policies to be implemented in letter and spirit. So all these are the contributing factors towards the complexity of the FMDV in Pakistan. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. A comment over there, I think.
I would add further that vaccination is not compulsory, it's voluntary vaccination. And the quality of locally produced vaccine is very, very poor. So that is another thing that adds into the development of new sublineages and so on.
Thank you very much. Maybe you can help me a little bit further, because I had a similar question. What is the ambition of Pakistan in terms of progressive control? I can imagine that you may not want, or that it may not be realistic to do that for the whole country, but that you are focusing on a zone or a sector to implement a better coverage, movement controls, whatever.
Yeah, currently Pakistan is at stage 2, and there was a pilot project, basically progressive control pathway. We are in, and before that, an FAO, Italian-funded FAO project, in which Pakistan moved from stage 0 to 1, and now it is in stage 2. And I think an official control policy has been submitted. It has already been written. A consultant was hired for that. But as I'm not from the government, so I don't have much more detail about that.
Thank you very much. I think Don would like to comment. Or?
This is not a question, it's more a comment. I thank you for the presentations. I think it's very useful to see sequence data reported from field cases. I suppose the comment I would make is about the nomenclature that is used to describe some of these sublineages, and I recognize there's quite a lot of complexity here in terms of what we actually name these different sublineages. Mm-hmm. And really for information for those